I'm Dr. Nancy, your medical celebrity doctor, and this is Dr. Nancy Knows, the talk show that inspires, brings awareness and inspiration to many communities across the nation, bridging the gap of disparity, uniting our nation. And Dr. Nancy Knows does that through bringing individuals that are experts in their field of industry, along with my 25 years of experience. And you know, every so often we will have celebrity guests on the show. Today's guest is none other than Alicia Haygood. And first, we want to tell you how you can continue to watch Dr. Nancy Knows every Saturday morning at 9 Mountain Central Time here on this network, drnancyknows.com. And for all you podcasters, we're on many platforms. Today's guest is Alicia Haygood, and we've met recently. She's a bad woman in our community, let me just tell you. I'm so inspired by her, and you know, she is an entrepreneur, she is a mother, and she's a wife. She's the CEO and founder of Michelle Media, and she runs the local Scottsdale Vibes Podcast as the host, along with McDowell Mountain Ranch Neighborhood Podcast. Alicia, it's so great to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Well, you know, I did your show recently,
yes.
And we met recently.
We did.
I often talk about here on Dr. Nancy Knows, you don't have to know a person a lifetime to know that you're connected in your kindred spirits. And you know, you said that to me first, but if you didn't say it, I was going to say it.
It was true. When you and I met, we instantly had a connection, and it was almost just in passing. We did it so quickly, but your smile, your energy, everything about you, I instantly knew that we were meant to be. Yes.
You know, we often also say that aligning yourself with individuals that are like-minded to empower you and keep you encouraged is so important in our life in this world. You know, with everything going on, we need to make sure that we stay grounded and have individuals in our lives that pour into us just as we do into them. And as women, we're nurturers by nature and so giving. And making ourselves a priority is so key. And I know that that's so important to you, a work-life balance.
It really is. It is key. And I went many years and didn't have that balance. And to go back to what you just said, it's so important to surround yourself by those who make you a better person. And I tried to associate myself and bring people like you in with me because I know that I can learn from you, learn from others, learn from other women, especially during this day and age. And I just want to bring myself up to be my best self. And I can't do that alone, I've learned.
Well, that's so true. And, you know, it's often our differences that attract us to one another, not the opposite.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And you and I have had completely different paths, you know, and it is funny how it is bringing us together, though, because we just need one common denominator, I think, to grow a relationship. And so I tried to do that with people. And I really do love to learn from other people. And so if you can't make me a better person, if you can't teach me, or if I can't gain something from you, I'd like to be that person for you. You know, I'd like to teach you or bring you to your best self. So yes, it's extremely important to me.
Well, you know, you are an educator in your own right, and you know, 12 years previously in journalism, national and local television as well, bringing the news and sports to many people. That's important.
It is. I knew at a young age in high school, I got conned into taking a journalism class in high school, and I had no idea what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I fell in love with television. I fell in love working behind the scenes. So I worked 12 years behind the news and sports, and I had the best time. And then life got a hold of me, and I ended up taking a few years off. My husband and I moved a lot for his job. I ended up having my daughter, and so between moving and having my second child, I couldn't find a job. And it was when we moved to Phoenix, or excuse me, we moved to Scottsdale 2 years ago, I looked at my husband and I was like, I haven't heard my name in so long. I hadn't heard someone call me Alicia in so long, and it was so important to me, and I think it's so important for everyone to realize you need your own identity. And I was called mom and wife every day, all day, and I missed Alicia. And it was so important to get Alicia back, and that's where all this came from.
Well, you know, that's really important. Knowing yourself and identifying with yourself and having that identity is so important at the end of the day. Being a strong, empowered woman and a wife and a mother, but having your own identity. And you know, when you got here in Scottsdale, you found a local neighborhood that had a podcast. You joined it. A year and a half later, you bought it and founded Michelle Media.
I did. So when we moved here, I knew that the work-life balance for me working in television was not going to be conducive for my home life. And so my husband and I, we're podcast listeners. We found the McDowell Mountain Ranch podcast, and I started listening to it. I reached out to the owner and the host at the time, had some editorial suggestions, as I like to say to him. Within 6 weeks, I was co-hosting with him, and then a year later, I bought the company from him and just expanded it.
That's an incredible story, and it's for anyone, especially our youth, right? Whatever you want to do and be, you certainly can. And the experiences that you have early in life, it's the one that guides you into your passion. And so never let fear paralyze you, and always reach out and connect and discover. It's so important.
I think that's so key, Dr. Nancy. I did let fear guide me for too long, and I was afraid to take that leap. I was afraid, the previous owner offered me the company. I was very interested, and it took me 2 months to say yes. Even though I wanted it, I was so scared. And it actually was reaching out to people like you and other successful entrepreneurs and business owners, asking them, how did you get over this fear? How did you take that leap of faith in yourself? Because I just didn't have it. I knew I could do it, but doing it is something different. And so I finally just looked at myself in the mirror. I'm not even joking. And I just yelled at myself saying, Alicia, enough. You have no reason to say no. And I took this leap of faith, and here we are. And it's the best decision I ever did. But it was scary. It's scary. And I think I let fear control my decision making for too long. And that was not okay. And that's what I got upset with myself for, as I let fear guide me. And I don't anymore.
Well, that's really a great story. And so many people need to know that you don't have to have plan A to Z to get started. You just have to put one foot in front of the other and just know that you can do it, and have people that are supportive of your decision.
Oh, I couldn't have done it without my team. I have an amazing support system with my family and friends, but I also have a great support system with my sponsors. I have sponsors throughout the community. I have Jeremy Mueller from State Farm Insurance. I have Darren Tackett at RE/MAX, Fine Property, Sean Shackleton of a real estate agent. Oh my gosh, where else? Notre Dame Prep. I have Dr. Rob from Arizona Center for Laser Dentistry. I have Envision Painting, and I have Stardust Building. And all of these local community mom and pop shops wanted to be with me. And I don't think I could have done this without all of my sponsors, because they're a huge support system for me, and they encourage me so much. And so thank you so much to my sponsors as well.
That's amazing. And listen, there's so many questions around what you just said. And first of all, individuals that want to aspire to be an entrepreneurial and they set course, how does individuals communicate and develop partnerships in the community to allow sponsorship? How does one have to make that happen?
Oh goodness. Okay, so I started a few neighborhood podcasts is how this all started. The neighborhood podcasts weren't taking off outside of my neighborhood. And so when I approached these sponsors, let's go big. We talked about doing a couple neighborhoods together. We talked about doing North Scottsdale, and I finally looked at them. I was like, I want it all. I want all of Scottsdale, or I don't want anything at all. And they're like, let's do it. They're all been in Scottsdale for decades. So they know this community, they know this area, they grew up here. And so they love Scottsdale just as much as I do in the short amount of time I've been here. That they were so excited to jump on board. They were so excited to show off their city. And if you ask them, they're so funny. They're like, Alicia, you go do you. We support you. Our name is just behind it. You are the story. You're the face. You're everything. We're just here to hold you up. And that meant the world to me.
So there's so many nuggets of information in that too, by the way. It's okay to dream and dream until your dreams come true, but dream big, because sometimes your dreams are not big enough. And then you're not confident enough, but then you have it backed up by your years of experience. So it's the choices that individuals make in their youth that will shape their future.
That's great. That's so true, though, too. And I think that is, I always tell people, dream big, because reality will knock you down a step. So if you start here, you're going to go down here. If you start up here, you'll end up where you belong, and you'll always grow to meet that. So never give up on your top goal. So I haven't. You know, we're not done yet. We're just now starting at Scottsdale Vibes, and we're going to be big, and we are going to take over Scottsdale podcasting world.
Awesome. So let's talk about that then, your vision and mission for what it is that you're currently doing.
Our vision for Scottsdale Podcast is really just to feature this city that we all love. I have learned in the short 2 years that I've lived here that we're a melting pot, and we're from all over the continental US, not just Chicago and Ohio like so many people, but we're from all over. And we all fall in love with it for different reasons. The success of the entrepreneurship and everyone becoming successful here, meeting people, the networking, it's like an adrenaline high for me. It's never ending. So I really want to take Scottsdale Vibes podcast and I want to showcase it to the world. I want everyone around the nation, when they think about coming to Scottsdale for vacation, to know about Scottsdale Vibes, to listen to it. We feature the businesses, we feature the people, we feature the success of this city and why we all love it. And I mean, the stories are endless here. That's the issue, really. And that's a bad problem. That's a good problem to have, in my opinion.
Well, you know, that is fabulous. Now tell individuals how to get a hold of you if they'd like to be a guest or want to be a sponsor.
All of those things. I would love to talk to you. I have had people reach out to me on social media. So we are on Instagram at Scottsdale Vibes Podcast. We're also on Facebook at Scottsdale Vibes Podcast. You can also find me at Alicia at scottsdalevibes.media. I respond to everything. I have had guests that have reached out to me on Instagram who have been on my podcast. I have done networking myself and gotten out there and made cold calls, you know, kind of thing. I am around. I am everywhere you could want to be. And if you go to my website at scottsdalevibes.media, you can find all my information on there. You can even submit a request on our website as well. So I'm everywhere, guys. There's nowhere you can't find me.
And when you own your own business,
yes,
you're always on.
Always.
You know, there has to be many different ways to be able to connect with you. And in this technology world,
oh yes,
it has to be on many platforms.
It does, it does.
And as a young entrepreneurial, you know, you're always striving to be better and to, you know, hand up and explore the possibilities and venture.
It is, it's true. And you know, that goes along to talking about you, Dr. Nancy. You know, it's all about collaborating with each other. I keep telling people, I'm not here to compete with other people in Scottsdale. We all have the same goal, and that's to help each other and to inform everyone in this community about what's going on. And there's an endless amount of ways to do that and opportunities, and I take advantage of all of them. And I love the line, I'm here to collaborate, not compete, and I really stand by that and live with that. And I want to lift you up just as I want to be lifted up by you as well.
You know, we are to be encouraging to one another. As a nation, inspiration, hope, and love is all free at the end of the day. And there are people out there that really care about you.
Thank you, thank you.
And you are the change that you wish to see in the world. And you're not about the problems. You're about solutions.
Yes.
And creating that platform. And, you know, Scottsdale is one of the capital tourist areas, you know, that people want to come to.
And I've gotten the opportunity to talk to so many of these big events that happen. I've gotten the chance to interview Barrett Jackson, you know, Mr. Barrett Jackson himself. I've gotten the opportunity to interview Mr. Jack Miller, who's the GM of the Princess, one of our favorite resorts here. It's just, they are loving this as much as I am. And that's why we want to go, you know, big and get our national audience, as we are such a tourist destination, especially with all the events that we host here. And I want to feature that. I want the world to know who Scottsdale is and why you need to come here, because it is a great city. It's a quiet, underestimated city, I think, and I love that about it. We're gonna blow it up. I'm gonna take the quiet out of it.
Well, Alicia, you're doing just that, because this network is national, and you've got the website, you're on Instagram and Facebook. That's national, everyone. So, you know, what is your Scottsdale vibe? And if you're interested, connect with Alicia today.
I would love to hear from you all. I definitely want to know what your Scottsdale vibe is, not only for you to showcase the world, but I want to know so I can go have that same vibe too, because I have learned it's my favorite question to ask every guest is, what's your favorite Scottsdale vibe? I have never gotten the same answer twice. And that to me shows what Scottsdale is it is a different vibe for everyone. But at the same time, at the end of the day, we all love it here. And that's what brings us together, the one common denominator.
Absolutely. You know, we're 99.9%, all of us are the same.
I know.
And, you know, it's time for us to come together and share and collaborate and just love on one another. Alicia, you're amazing.
Thank you. You are too. And thank you so much for having me. I had the best time. But I know this is not the end for you and I.
No, we have got some collaborating to do, that's for sure. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. So listen, guys, it's not only what Dr. Nancy knows, but it's who she knows. We'll talk next week.